Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Vasudevaya. Narayana Prasthya Naranjana Dev Saraswati Vyasa Sri Chaitanya Namah Vishnu Krishna Krishna Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Vijanami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachari Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paschatyadeshitari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Vedanta Sri Vasadi Gauravata Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. By His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 25, the characteristics of King Puranjani. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Slight disturbance is there,
Little
Prabhuji.
disturbances.
Right. So I'm traveling to Nasik. So on the way, there will be some disturbance. Yeah, so we begin. Text 28. Vagnirvavanyasya अथवा रामवाग्रमां पतिं विचिन्वते किं मुनिवद्ग्रहे वने त्वदाङ्घ्रिकामस्तमस्तकामं पद्मपङ्कज वपन् पद्मकोशपतितकराग्रः. Translation.
My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune or the wife of Lord Shiva or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are as silent as the great sages. Is it that you are searching after your own husband? Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulences. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I do not see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore, I am asking you, where you have thrown that lotus? Purport. Everyone thinks that his intelligence is perfect. Sometimes one employs his intelligence in the worship of Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva, in order to obtain a beautiful wife. Sometimes, when one wants to become as learned as Lord Brahma, he employs his intelligence in the worship of the goddess of learning, Saraswati. Sometimes, when one wishes to become as opulent as Lord Vishnu, he worships the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. In this verse, all these inquiries are made by King Puranjana, the living entity, who is bewildered and does not know how to employ his intelligence. Intelligence should be employed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as one uses his intelligence in this way, the goddess of fortune automatically becomes favorable to him. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, never remains without her husband, Lord Vishnu. Consequently, when one worships Lord Vishnu, he automatically obtains the favor of goddess of fortune. One should not, like Ravana, worship the goddess of fortune alone, for she cannot remain long without her husband. Thus, her other name is Chanchala or restless. In this verse, it is clear that Puranjana is representing our intelligence while he is talking with the girl. He not only appreciated the shyness of the girl, but actually became more and more attracted by that shyness. He was actually thinking of becoming her husband and consequently was asking her whether she was thinking of her prospective husband or whether she was married. This is an example of bhoga ichha, the desire for enjoyment. One who is attracted by such desires becomes conditioned in this material world, and one who is not so attracted attains liberation. King Puranjana was appreciating the beauty of the girl as if she were the goddess of fortune. But at the same time, he was careful to understand that the goddess of fortune cannot be enjoyed by anyone except Lord Vishnu. Since he doubted whether the girl was the goddess of fortune, he inquired about the lotus flower she was not holding. The material world is also the goddess of fortune because the material energy works under the direction of Lord Vishnu, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshina Prakriti, Suyate Sa Characharam. The material world cannot be enjoyed by any living entity. If one so desires to enjoy it, he immediately becomes a demon like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, or Kamsa. Because Ravana wanted to enjoy the goddess of fortune, Sita Devi, he was vanquished with all his family, wealth, and opulence. One can, however, enjoy that Maya bestowed upon the living entity by Lord Vishnu. The satisfaction of one's senses and desires means enjoying Maya, not the goddess of fortune. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Am I still audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sorry.
Yeah. So now the king Puranjan began to say that, my dear girl, you are exactly like Lakshmi, Rama, or Parvati, or Saraswati. You look more like Lakshmi, but I doubt whether you are Lakshmi because you are not holding the lotus in your hand. But looking at your grace, whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all appearances. And therefore, I am inquiring about you. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, now, this purport has such three beautiful points. And pata nahi when it will start, but I really want to start that Tatparya Amrit Bindu. And if that is to be started, there are three Amrit Bindus to be noted in this particular verse and purport. We will discuss this. So, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that everyone thinks that his intelligence is perfect. And with his thinking his intelligence is perfect, he is trying to make so many plans in the material. And thus he will be worshipping Deva. So, and finally, people want to worship Lakshmi so that they can have favor of Lakshmi, not realizing that Lakshmi is Mataji married. You cannot have a favor of another woman. No, it is not the Vedic etiquette. So, Lakshmi is automatically pleased when somebody praises Lord Narayana. Otherwise, one becomes condemned like Ravana. Ravana wanted to enjoy Mother Sita without Lord Ram, and thus he was right. So, therefore, Prabhupada writes here, one has to be very careful about Bhoga Ichha. There is a difference between Lakshmi and Chanchala. And then, when we are simply interested in the energy of the Lord, without the Lord, then all we get is Maya or Chanchala. It is not Lakshmi, which will not stay with us. And therefore, one has to be worshipping the Supreme Lord, and then Lakshmi will be naturally pleased with such a personality. So, King Puranjana was aware of this fact, and therefore he is inquiring that, right, oh dear lady, if you are Lakshmi, then you are already consort of Lord Vishnu. But then, if you are Lakshmi, where is your lotus in your hand? That is not there. So you may not be Lakshmi. Srila Prabhupada further this material world is also Lakshmi. What an amazing point that is. How it is also energy of the Supreme Lord. Vayadakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacha. And therefore, anybody who wants to enjoy material world is also considered to be a demon like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, or a Kamsa. Right? And therefore, a devotee of the Lord doesn't want to enjoy the material world as well. Devotee of the Lord wants to engage the material world in the service of the Lord, and thus, uh, you know, please to the Supreme Personality of God. So the whole thing is coming from Ichha Dvesha Samiti. The Bhoga Ichha that living entity has is enjoyed separately than the Supreme Lord. Now look at the three wonderful points here. One very powerful point is in the translation where Prabhupada writes here, whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all appearances. Right? So the chastity of the lady makes the husband automatically rich. This is Vedic civilization. Right? So the chastity, the pativrata, lady will make the entire family into a very, very prosperous family. Therefore, it is very, it's very amazing principle of pativrata. Another point is Ravana and Shurpanakha, very amazing brother sister. Ravana wanted to enjoy Sita without Lord Ram, and Shurpanakha wanted to enjoy Lord Ram without Sita. And both of them were taught a lesson. And the third amazing point is material world is also Lakshmi, right? And therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes a very important point in the book called as Jaiva Dharma. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that squandering, the material assets, like, pani ka nal chal raha hai, the, the lights in the house are going on. We have very amazing devotee, Yogeshwar Gopal. So whichever room he will come out of that room, lights he will switch on. Initially, I used to become quite irritated that, right? But then I came across this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that squandering the material resources is also considered as a sinful activity. Of course, you can buy the material resources by the money you have, but squandering them uselessly is considered as a sinful activity. Another important point is also what I have seen, especially the Marwadi families. My friends were quite Marwadis since engineering, Patit Pawan Prabhu, Pavan Totla, and many other devotees. And I had seen in their house, like once in the Yatra we are supposed to go to South India Yatra. And there was no prasadam arrangement 25 years back, in the train. And we went to Warangal, where Patit Pawan Prabhu's mama's place, they were staying there. And they very happily agreed that, they want to give breakfast and lunch for almost like 80, 90 boys, IYF boys. Radhesham Prabhu was also in the team. So, to prepare that very well, me and Patit Pawan Prabhu, we went ahead 2-3 days. So I stayed in their house for 2-3 days. And 2-3 amazing realizations I had. One thing was that in that Marwadi family, everybody's name was with Krishna. I'm so surprised. Directly with Krishna's name. Somebody is Venu Gopal, Venu Prasad, Radha Madhav, somebody is Vasudev, or Lord Ram, or Narayan, or like that. But the names revolved around Krishna. That is one thing. Second thing was that they are so eager to do Vaishnava Seva. Very, very eager. So, Mama, Mami, they were doing activities and they were engaging children also. Isko ye karo, isko panch karo, ye karo, wo karo. And their one line was, Seva karoge, meva milega. Karoge seva, milega meva. करोगे सेवा मिलेगा मेवा. And it was, and all these kids, somebody in fourth standard, somebody in sixth standard, and another, they were so happily engaged, right? Somebody is putting laddu in the box, somebody is making sabji ka packet, somebody is making chapati ka packet, and all that. So, karoge seva, milega meva. And kids were also happily doing it. And the third thing is their eagerness to feed Vaishnavas or, in general, even others also. That the tendency to
Not audible.
send should audible, not audible.
Yeah, now it's okay.
How long I was not audible?
Nirvaji, up to that example you have given, no? The
Tendency to feed, Prabhuji. Tendency
hospitality
to
of
feed.
these children.
Right. Yeah. So almost everything. So the third thing is feeding. Of course, the best of the feeding is feeding the Vaishnava. But in general, the Annadan, this I have seen, these three things. Name is revolving around Krishna. Second, great eagerness to do seva, especially Vaishnava seva. And third, Annadan, and especially, Annadan to the, Bhumte Bhojayate Chaiva. That's what Rupa Goswami describes. Right. So these are amazing points here. Text 29. Nasam paroranyatama vispruka purim imam veera varena sakam arhasya lankritam adabdra karamana lokam param shri rivayatnya pumsa. Translation.
Translation, O greatly fortunate one, it appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned because I see that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some woman of this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune, who accompanied by Lord Vishnu, increases the beauty of the Vaikunth planets, also increase the beauty of this city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and a very powerful king on this planet. Purport. There is a difference between demonic mentality and devotional mentality. Devotees know perfectly well that the goddess of fortune, who is the constant companion of Vishnu or Narayana, cannot be enjoyed by a living entity. This higher sense of understanding is called Krishna consciousness. Nonetheless, everyone wants to become happy by imitating the prosperity of Narayana. In this verse, Puranjana states that the girl appears to be an ordinary woman. However, since he is attracted by her, he requests that she become as happy as the goddess of fortune by associating with him. Thus, he introduces himself as a great king with great influence so that she might accept him as a husband and be as happy as the goddess of fortune. To desire to enjoy this material world as a subordinate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is godly. The demons, however, want to enjoy this material world without considering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the difference between a demon and a demigod. The word bhuvispruka mentioned in this verse is very significant. When the demigods sometimes come to this planet, they do not touch the ground. Puranjana could understand that this girl did not belong to the transcendental world or the higher planetary system because her feet were touching the ground. Since every woman in this world wants a husband to be very influential, rich, and powerful, Puranjana, to seduce the girl, introduced himself as such a personality. In the material world, whether one be a man or a woman, one wants to enjoy. A man wants to enjoy a beautiful woman, and a woman wants to enjoy a powerful, opulent man. Every living entity who possesses such material desire is called Purusha, an enjoyer. Superficially, it appears that the woman is the enjoyed and the man is the enjoyer. But internally, everyone is the enjoyer. But internally, everyone is an enjoyer. Consequently, everything in this material world is called Maya. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Now the king, the Puranjan, he further said, "O most fortunate one, it appears you may not be Lakshmi, Parvati, or Saraswati, because one thing is another thing is your feet are touching the ground. Just like Lakshmi made Vaikuntha more beautiful by her presence with Narayana, similarly, make my city more beautiful by associating with me. I am also a very powerful king on this planet. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains this is the difference between demoniac mentality and devotional mentality. That demoniac mentality is I want to enjoy bhoga. Devotional mentality, Prabhupada says, is a devotee wants to offer bhoga to the Supreme Lord, convert it into prasad, and then he will very happily enjoy prasad. Powerful line Prabhupada writes here. To desire to enjoy this material world as a subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is godly. Right. So some solace to all of us. So we don't want to accept the bhoga, but we want to accept prasad. Bhoga is to be offered to the Supreme Lord, and then prasada can be accepted. And that is what the beautiful concept of Yukta Vairagya. Again, the precaution there is there has to be some sense of Vairagya before Yukta Vairagya. Okay, this is. The demon, however, wants to deride the Supreme Lord and wants to himself enjoy and provide. This is the difference between demigod and the demon. Then the word there is Bhuvispurka. When the demigods they come to this planet, they do not touch the bhumi. They will not stand. So this is the powerful symptom of somebody is a demigod. Here, Puranjan could see that she is touching the ground. Means her feet are of earthly. So in Marathi madhe we have a simple saying, "Paay maticheच आहेत," like that. Okay. So then he realized, okay, she is not such a celestial personality. And Prabhupada says that in the material world, everybody is a Purusha. Sometimes it may appear that male is a Purusha and female is a Prakriti, and Purusha is enjoying Prakriti. But actually, everybody wants to enjoy, and male or female, both are Purusha who are trying to enjoy this material world. And therefore, everything is a Maya. In a way. Consequently, everything in the material world is called Maya. Okay, so we come to text 30. यदेशमापाङ्ग विखण्डितेन्द्रिय सम्प्रीडभाव स्मितविभ्रुवभ्रुवा स्वयोपसृष्टो भगवान् मनोभवः प्रदादधीथा गृहाणशोभने. Translation.
Certainly, your glancing upon me today has very much agitated my mind. Your smile, which is full of shyness but at the same time lusty, is agitating the most powerful Cupid within me. Therefore, O most beautiful, I ask you to be merciful upon me. But everyone has lusty desires within, and as soon as one is agitated by the movement of a beautiful woman's eyebrows, the Cupid within immediately throws his arrow at the heart. Thus, one is quickly conquered by the eyebrows of a beautiful woman. When one is agitated by lusty desires, his senses are attracted by all kinds of vishaya, enjoyable things like sound, touch, form, smell, and taste. These attractive sense objects oblige one to come under the control of a woman. In this way, the conditional life of a living entity begins. Conditional life means being under the control of a woman. And certainly, the living entity is always at the mercy of a woman or a man. Thus, living entities live in bondage to one another, and thus they continue this conditional material life illusion by Maya.
Now the king Puranjan further began to say, "O Shobhane, oh very beautiful one, certainly your glancing upon me your glance is, although you are very shy, but your glance is quite lusty, and therefore it is awakening powerful Cupid inside me, and thus I am losing my senses." In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that everyone has lusty desires within, and therefore one has to be very careful not to expose oneself to the environment which will agitate one's lust. And therefore, Sattva is, very highly recommended for a devotee. So Prabhupada says here, later also it will come in 8th canto. Prabhupada writes that the sidelong glances, and therefore the bruvi means, what is the bruvi? Bruvi jrumbhe lagi. What is the English word for bruvi? Eyebrows, yeah. The eyebrows are compared to the dhanush, and the glance is compared to the arrow. And such a sidelong glance, it looks like a Bollywood movie only, right? A lot of Bollywood guys get ideas from, the Shringara Charitra, Shringara Rasa of Radha and Krishna. Most of it. So, and therefore the Cupid will enter the heart through the sidelong glance, which is you are doing this Oshobhane. This is how Purunchan addresses. And Prabhupada says here, the conditional life just begins when one comes under the control of enjoyment. And therefore, in such a conditioned life, man or woman can act as a Maya to each other, because if they are simply into the relationship for enjoyment, which is a typical symptom of Kali Yuga, Dampati Abhiruchirheti, that the Dampati Jivan will be only based on the sensual power, and when the sensual power is gone, people will shamelessly change the partners. Okay, this is one of the powerful symptoms of Kali Yuga, which we'll read in the 12th canto. Okay. So, is there any question on it? 744. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone.
Prabhupada.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.